Welcome back to another Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving into a massive, incredibly relevant question. What is AI actually doing to your brain? Let's just jump right in by imagining a genuinely utopian scenario. Picture waking up tomorrow morning and realizing you never, ever have to think about a mundane, repetitive mental task again.
Think about it. We're pretty much already at a point where you never have to remember a phone number. I mean, let's be real, most of us couldn't recite our own best friend's number right now if our lives depended on it.
You're never writing another email from scratch. That staring at a blank screen anxiety? Completely gone.
You're never having to slog through a long, dense article just to get the gist. You've got a machine doing all the heavy lifting for your reading and information gathering.
You're not even planning your day anymore. Your personal logistics, your calendar, your optimal commute, boom, it's all completely automated.
And here is the wildest one. You never even have to think of ideas. Just let that marinate for a second. Every time your brain hits a wall or faces a tough problem, an AI steps in and solves it in seconds. We are literally outsourcing our own creativity. Sounds completely frictionless, right?
But that brings us to the big, unavoidable question we have to confront today. If you stop doing the thinking, what happens to the part of your brain that used to do it? Are we entering an era where AI actually makes us vastly smarter and more capable? Or are we, slowly and quietly becoming completely dependent? To figure out what ChatGPT and these other tools are really doing to our minds, we need to look at how the brain actually works.
Which brings us to Section 1, the ultimate brain shortcut.
So the human brain is this incredibly efficient biological machine, and it's constantly looking for ways to save energy. Psychologists call this cognitive offloading. Basically, it's the act of storing information somewhere else instead of inside your head to save that precious mental energy. If you've ever used a calculator to figure out a restaurant tip or relied on GPS to navigate across town, you've already experienced this. We treat these tools like external hard drives for our minds. Google remembers the trivia, GPS remembers the turns, and now, AI is stepping in to process almost everything else.
Now, before we sound the alarm, let's zoom out and look at the history here. Technology has always changed how we think. The invention of writing meant we didn't have to memorize epic hour-long stories anymore. Books meant we didn't have to hold every single fact in our heads. Search engines totally revolutionized how we retrieve information. AI is really just the next logical step in this timeline, moving from simply finding information to actually solving problems. So the question isn't, are we remembering less? The real question is, what are we going to do with all this new mental space we've just freed up?
Let's move on to Section 2, the learning paradox.
Here's a fascinating quirk about your brain. It remembers things it believes are important, but if it knows it can just ask an AI later, it naturally invests less effort into storing that info. Psychologists have actually known for years that we are way better at remembering where to find information than remembering the information itself. Your memory isn't broken, it's just adapting. So how do we actually learn now? Picture two students. The active AI user asks the bot to explain a tough concept, then asks follow-up questions, challenges the explanation, and practices solving the problem on their own. On the flip side, the passive user types in a prompt, copies the answer, hits submit, and literally never thinks about it again. Both used AI, but only one actually learned anything. AI doesn't kill learning, passive learning kills learning.
And that leads to this absolutely crucial point. Critical thinking isn't about having the answers, it's about asking questions. AI is phenomenal at spitting out incredibly convincing answers at lightning speed. But, as we've all seen, convincing does not always mean correct. AI can lack context, it can hallucinate, and it can confidently feed you totally bogus information. If we stop questioning what we read, our critical thinking skills are going to tank. We have to be the ones asking, wait, how do we know this? What's the evidence here? The more polished the AI's answers get, the more vital our questioning skills become.
This takes us to Section 3, the creativity question.
There's this super common fear that leaning on AI is going to destroy human creativity. But let's reframe that. Think about the sheer volume of mental space we are suddenly getting back. When you let AI summarize reports, generate initial ideas, write messy first drafts, analyze massive data sets, tasks that used to take hours of grueling mental labor now take minutes. By offloading all this grunt work, we are saving a massive amount of mental energy. It's shifting from a search engine to an incredibly fast coworker.
But, and this is a hard boundary line, AI cannot replace your lived experiences. It can't replace your emotions, your intuition, or your unique ability to decide what actually matters. True creativity is always about building on existing ideas, right? Artists study other artists. Scientists build on past discoveries. AI is just another tool to help with the heavy lifting of imagination. It can give you an outline, sure, but that creative spark, that human judgment, that is entirely yours. The most creative people going forward won't be the ones hiding from AI. They'll be the ones wielding it without letting it replace their own vision.
All right, final part. Section 4, Thinking with AI. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about a really simple physical metaphor. Think about your muscles. If you stop using them, they atrophy. They get weaker. Well, your brain works in a very similar way. Cognitive skills get sharper through active use, and they absolutely fade when you stop practicing them. If you rely on AI to write every single email, plan every trip, and solve every tiny problem, eventually you stop practicing those cognitive skills yourself. AI itself doesn't damage your brain, but your daily habits dictate what your brain stays good at.
I want to cement that with a really powerful quote from the source material. The biggest danger isn't using AI, it's letting AI do the thinking instead of helping you think. Look, throughout history, people panicked that printing presses or calculators would ruin human intelligence. But we adapted every single time. The challenge isn't stopping the technology from changing us. The challenge is making sure we stay in the driver's seat.
It all really boils down to one vital distinction. Is it thinking for you or thinking with you? Should you use AI? Absolutely, for sure. It's one of the greatest productivity tools ever built. But you have to treat it like a collaborative tutor, not a replacement brain. Don't ask it to do the thinking for you. Ask it to think with you. Challenge it. Push back on its outputs. Let it do the grunt work so you can focus on the deep work. Ultimately, the real danger isn't that AI becomes some super smart sci-fi villain. The danger is that we get so comfortable letting the machine do the hard thinking that we just stop challenging our own minds. Remember, intelligence isn't just knowing the answer. It is asking better questions. And no matter how insanely powerful AI becomes in the next few years, asking the right questions remains our most fundamentally human superpower.
So, I want to leave you with this one thought to reflect on. If AI could do one task for you every single day, but the catch is you had to give up doing it yourself forever, what would you choose? Think carefully about what you're willing to offload and what parts of your mind you want to keep sharp. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those great questions, and I'll catch you in the next one.